years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in to our, I guess, semi-new digs now at the Fordyce Center. I'm going to move out of the way, and as you can tell, today we have a little different background. We have the Predator in a mural-style deal today. Now, I don't know how long that'll be the case, but it looks good nonetheless, and we welcome all of you into the Fordyce Center. We are in the middle of football season, but I will take about 30 seconds to thank the folks at Stars Basketball. They put on a terrific banquet last night. And Billy, Jimmy Dykes was unbelievably good.
Awesome. Super, super powerful from him last night.
Man.
So that was he's not just a college basketball analyst. He's a man of faith. That was awesome last night.
Boy, you could hear a pin drop as he got wound up with his message. So good for them. I know they raised some good money. Jimmy Dykes was tremendous. I knew he would be. Let's get to the football. Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Brunette Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial Lori up at 615-969-4350. Let's say hello to Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, in the car. Terry, how are you?
I'm doing well, George. How are you?
I'm good. Tell me what's shaking.
Well, the Titans welcomed back a couple of needed guys today. Kyle Phillips was back on the practice field and, getting ready to perhaps be activated, likely to be activated this Sunday at Indianapolis. And then Nicholas Petit-Ferrer was also back and practicing for the first time after having 2 games cut off of his gambling suspension by the league. So things are looking up a little bit for the Titans in terms of getting bodies back.
Which is absolutely what they need. They've needed this for about 2.5 years. They've had more injuries than Carter has had little pills. So, Terry, that's good news. What else is happening?
Well, Peter Skoronski was also back, so that's further good news. He was on the practice field and going today, as was Elijah Molden during the open part of practice. The other thing is that in terms of guys who were not here, Traylon Burks was missing today. Vrabel kind of let that out of the bag today when talking about guys who wouldn't practice today. So he's still not available in terms of coming off that knee injury. So it'll be interesting to see if he can return later in the week or if they're going to hold him out this week.
Yeah, that's one that obviously is a lot of concern. Terry, this was a big win Sunday. There's no doubt about it. It was sort of a have to have it. The difference in 2-2 and 1-3, we all know, can be huge. How do you feel they're going to do when they go up to Indy, who I assume Anthony Richardson will play, and they've got to get ready because he's a unique talent?
Yeah, he really is. I mean, and it's always interesting the first time you play against a rookie quarterback, exactly, seeing him live for the first time and what he brings to the table. You can do the film study and all, but as valuable as that is, it's not like the real thing of having experience playing against the guy. They said that, in the locker room, guys were saying that they've got to make sure they get him down on the ground because he can make somebody miss and turn up and run, 30 yards for a big gain, or he can turn the ball loose and throw it down the field 50 or 60 yards and make a big play. The one thing is, he is a rookie, so they're probably going to try and confuse him as much as they can, see if they can make him throw some ill-advised footballs and take advantage of things like that. The Titans have kind of had the Colts number after not being able to win against them for the longest time during the Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck years. Very, very few victories for the Titans. But since that time, they've kind of had their way with the Colts. It'll be interesting to see if that continues Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium, because, this is a Colts team that so far looks a little bit ahead of schedule in the rebuild process. Same with the Texans in terms of trying to break in a brand new quarterback.
Yeah, the division looks a tad bit stronger than we thought going in. Terry, we'll check back in with you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Sounds good.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Brunette Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. Dial her up at 615-969-4350. Before we get to any update stuff, I want to ask Kelly Holcomb this question, because Kelly, those of us who didn't play football in the NFL, we just assume, okay, this guy hadn't played in the offensive line for a while, just toss him in, toss the other one out, and good to go. It's not that simple, is it?
No, it is not that simple, George. He's going to have to get up to playing speed. Everybody says, well, I've been working out on my own, but you can work out on your own as much as you can. That's what off-season stuff is about. But you can work out as much as you want to. But when you get in there in that first snap, the anxiety of your body, everything is just, you're just not used to the speed of the game. You're not used to the rush of the crowd. You got to get used to all that. Your body has to have all this outside interference that's going on that you just got to get used to, and you just can't do it training by yourself. I don't care if you got a trainer, if you're outside. It's just you cannot what the things that go on a Sunday. Yeah, you cannot simulate the things that go on a Sunday. You just can't do it working out by yourself or working out on your own. You just that's the anxiety part of it, the being nervous part of it, the sleeping part of it. It's totally different, because when you're not playing a game, you sleep good. But when the night before a game, sometimes guys don't sleep very good. I slept okay. Some nights I didn't. Sometimes I slept like a baby. So it's all different. So it's just a different set of circumstances, and it's hard to simulate that.
Then you get to a certain age and you just don't sleep at all.
You only need like 3. You're at the age right now, George, you only need like 3 or 4.
No, it's not true. It's not true. Billy, take over. Is there an update in our future?
There is.
Really?
And, we start with Major League Baseball. Playoffs heating up. I was about to say World Series. Not yet. But yesterday had 4 games. Rangers shut out the Rays 4-0 in Tampa. Pretty dominant on the road.
Yes.
in front of a bad crowd. There are not many people there.
This really brings into question whether Tampa really needs to be a major league city. 19,000? Give me a flipping break.
Yeah, I think it was the worst since 1976 for a playoff crowd. So
that's inexcusable.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, on the opposite side, a great crowd in Minnesota, because they haven't been there in a long time, and I'm happy for that city. They beat the Blue Jays 3-1, and the D-backs beat the Brewers in Milwaukee 6-3. So
hold on a second.
Yeah, back to the
Twinkies had lost 18 postseason games in a row, most of them to the hated Yankees. I hope they win this series.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And Kelly, I was telling George yesterday, it's always cool, and it's probably happened in the NFL. If the Lions get in this year, imagine Ford Field. Teams that haven't been there in a while. Baseball is special. Like the Phillies a couple of years ago, they hadn't been there in a while, and their fans are so revved up.
And they were last night, too.
And it just makes for a better overall atmosphere.
Yeah, I was reading something earlier that was just talking about it, like the pressure out of the stadium when they've lost all these games in the postseason. The pressure out of the stadium when they won that game was just over. And now they can get back to playing baseball, which is a good thing for them. That's cool. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Listen, these 2 out of 3s, it's a turn on the pressure meter.
Absolutely.
Because, you blink wrong and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I listen, I wish it weren't this way if I were commissioner, and I'd be a damn good one. We'd go to 154 games, and these first series would be 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
The first what we're
Wild
in right
card.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 out of 3. I mean, you might as well just flip one of these. Mr. Holcomb, heads or tails?
Yeah, because you can be like the Brewers or the Rays coming in really hot, and then you lose the first game, and all the pressure is on you, man. And you know what happens in pressure, man. There's a lot of things that go on that you haven't done. I mean, I think that's what happened to the Rays yesterday. They made a bunch of errors, and they're not used to doing that. They're really hot coming in, but golly.
Well, I also
games.
think it was a downer when they ran out on that field and saw that pitiful crowd, because they know they've been around enough playoff places, and they're like, this is it?
Yeah.
This is all we can get?
Well, and Danny's talked about it a lot with how long the season is, and then, boom, it can end in a flash and in a snap with these best of 3 series in the wild cards. It's crazy. The sport of baseball, you see it in college too. You know, you're hosting a regional, you go down one game, and then you lose confidence. You know, happens to a lot of teams. So
at least they get 3 games. Hey, in football, you get 1 game, Hoss. You play a whole year for 1 game.
We'll let you play 3 and have a bunch of mangled bodies out there. Game 3, 2 days later.
Speaking of
the only one standing is the quarterback.
Wouldn't work.
Speaking of Game 3 yesterday, mentioned the D-backs. They beat the Brewers. They beat Pogie's Brewers, so they're reeling right now. They got
Pogie's flag is at half staff.
Yeah, about to wave the white flag. We'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see if the Brew Crew can survive. And then the Phillies last night beat the Marlins 4-1. And
Sorry,
you got
the damn Phillies.
Sorry, George.
Oh,
that atmosphere
was strong.
I mean, that's an SEC football atmosphere up there.
Here's what I think is going to happen if the Phillies go ahead and sweep today. The worry is that they will be able to pitch Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola 4 of the 5 games. But I don't see either one of them going in game 1. Max Fried, I would assume, will go for Atlanta. If I'm the Braves and I win game 1, I'm pitching Bryce Elder in game 2, and I'm moving Spencer Strider to game 3 and telling him to crank up that fastball and shut those people up. It's not that easy.
It's playoff. No. Playoff George is different.
Playoff, yeah. I may even wear a Braves hat on the show.
Well, we've got 4 more today. One has actually just started, the first one, Tampa and Texas. Texas trying to close it out. They've got Eovaldi going, so he's their horse. So
Nathan Eovaldi, when he's right, strong.
Yeah, and also 3:30, Blue Jays at Twins, game 2 in Minnesota. Sonny Gray.
Yes, Sonny's got a chance to send them home happy.
Sonny has he's kind of bounced around, so happy for him. He's getting a chance today. And then the night games, D-backs at Brewers at 6. Zach Gallen is going for Arizona. And then Marlins at Phillies. Nola is going to go for the Phillies. So if he's going tonight,
he's not going Saturday.
Right. So that you could say, I guess, maybe that's an advantage for the Braves.
Oh, Nola's
still going to
because
go.
Somebody's not going to be able to go twice in that series.
Yeah. Kelly got some audio back there?
No, I got some stuff going on with the old daughter. My wife's trying to get in touch with me. Tell her to text me.
We're boring, Kelly. Let's get to some football now. Blue Raiders in action tonight.
Yeah, Wednesday.
So little Wednesday night football against Jacksonville State.
ESPN is touting that there will be a football game every day for the next 50.
I think it's 49.
49, but who's counting? I mean, what the heck? So, Kelly, to kick it off, we're going to play a little paper football here. You ready? Thank you.
I was a champ at that at Ralph Askins Elementary, dude. Paper football.
Doesn't get any better.
Blue Raiders are reeling. They're 1-4 right now.
They need a win.
They need a win tonight.
They're favored tonight against Jacksonville State. I've seen Jacksonville State. They're pretty good.
Rich Rod, right?
Yes.
I think he's down there. And then FIU, Mike McIntyre in action tonight at New Mexico State, 8 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network. So a couple of familiar names playing tonight. We've also, of course, I know you guys saw the transfer window in college athletics has been changed. I don't really think it means much at all. But basically, each sport will have 45 total days, but it'll be divided differently by sport. For example, before this rule change, the window for football would open the day after the college football playoff teams are announced, which was December 4th last year, and would stay open for 45 days. The next period would open April 15th to April 30th, which will remain the same with these new changes. But there's a 30-day window after the season and 15 days in the spring. So they basically just tighten it up a little bit. I don't know if this really, makes a huge difference. But
well, it does to JT Daniels because he's got to be on the Rose Bowl parade transfer portal float. After all, he is the grand marshal, 4 transfers in 4 years. Is he allowed any more, Kelly?
No, we're good.
We're good.
We're
He's
good.
done.
Oh, man. Well, that's all I got.
Good.
We
That's
got I know the Rams, they have designated Cooper Kupp to return to practice. So he's starting his 21-day practice window now. So looks like they'll be getting Kupp back within the next month or
What's
so.
the kid's name that his Puka
Nacua.
Puka Nacua, who's not related to Pecorine, has been a godsend for them.
Yeah.
Man, when they get Cooper Kupp back, and I hope they do because he's fun and he's really good, they got a receiving core that you better look out for.
God, they create him in a lab up there, no matter who they get.
So after the break, we're going to give Kelly and I the scientific 1 through 14 in the SEC.
Oh,
1, 2, and 14 are easy. The rest gets a little dicey. Then Predators head coach Andrew Brunette will join us at around 2:40. Looking forward to that. Hard to believe their regular season is less than a week away in Tampa next Tuesday at 4:30 Nashville time. We'll go to the break. The George Plaster Show continues after this.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Okay, we're back. Now, if you think back a couple of weeks ago when we did this exercise of ranking the SEC, I'll tell you this. Boy, have there been some changes to what has gone on. I think my guess is that all of you are going to agree with us pretty much on 1, 2, and 14. In between, God only knows. But let's take a look and let's talk about it. Okay, Georgia, until they lose, is going to be number one. Whether we think they're a team capable of winning it all again, and I don't, not yet. They haven't shown me enough to make me think that. But Georgia's number one. Alabama, Kelly, is number two right now. They seem to have found sort of a second wind after Texas.
Yeah, they've kind of found their swagger a little bit. Jalen Milroe's playing a little bit better, although he's still got to learn. He wants to take off too early, but it's different from the quarterbacks that have passed there with the Bryce Youngs and the Mac Jones and Tua and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was a little bit like that before he learned how to play the quarterback position in Philly, and he's doing really well. But he's got to stay in that pocket a little bit longer. He's going to gain experience, but I think overall, Nick Saban's gone in there and he's like, hey, guys are talking about us. We got to get better. The only way you get better is to go out on their practice field and give us your all each and every day. And it looks like they're doing that.
So we've given Ole Miss for now the 3-hole. Who knows who's really number 3? This thing changes from week to week.
Well, and you've got 2 5-0 teams there, and I've heard I know Missouri has played K-State, and Kentucky obviously dominated Florida last week. But I mean, this is prove-it time this weekend for both those teams. We can kind of wait, and if they both win this weekend against LSU and Georgia,
then you got something totally different. Because first of all, Missouri is home to LSU. Kentucky is at Georgia. So Kelly, let me just kind of back you into a corner. Do you think Kentucky can, whether they win in Athens, be right there at the end?
With what I've seen, yeah, I think they can. I think with the with Devin Leary and Ray Davis on offense, I think they can. I think they can keep it close. Wouldn't be surprised at all. I don't know if they can beat Georgia at Georgia, but I think they can stay in it till the end, and I know that's what Coach Stoops is talking about. If we can just get it into the fourth quarter where we're not getting blown out, we've got a reasonable shot to win the game. I think they can make it a game. I really do. Missouri's got a really good quarterback, George. That's why I think their win against Kansas State was more impressive than Kentucky's win against Florida, because we've already seen Florida play really bad against Utah when they started the season, and then They come out in the swamp. They play really well against Tennessee, and it's like Tony said yesterday. Tennessee struggles with Florida, but Kentucky struggles with Tennessee. So all that's coming down the line here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to find out a lot about these teams.
Crazy. The recipe for Missouri Saturday against LSU is to keep it close and then have the big kid hit a 78-yard field goal.
78. That'd be a record.
I never thought he'd get the one against Kansas State there.
No.
He got all that girth into it.
Yeah, and Coach Drink was lucky because they commit a penalty right before that, or I think it was a huge penalty, pushed him back either 5 or 10 yards, and he still was able to hit it. So
I trust pro kickers. I'm not too trustworthy into college kickers. I'm just not. But he made that huge one there to beat Kansas State. So they've got a quarterback that's pretty good. If he could be the best in the SEC,
and maybe the best receiver too, at least statistically right now.
Yeah.
Burton is insane.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Tennessee. Okay, we put them 6th. Deep down, do I think they're better? Absolutely, I think they're better. They certainly were not better against Florida. They felt like they were better against South Carolina. And now all of a sudden they've got Godzilla in the name of, after open date this Saturday, A&M at Bama at Kentucky. We're going to learn a lot about
Yeah, we're going to learn a lot, and Joe Milton, Tony said it yesterday. I keep bringing him up, but he said it yesterday. For a guy that did not turn the ball over these last couple of games, he's turning the ball over, making bad decisions. So they've got to fix that before they go into these big games, George.
Let me ask you all this. There's 4 4-1 teams: Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. Who's the best 4-1 team right now?
Right now,
Alabama in the rankings, but does that change? Like, do you all both think it's Alabama still?
I do. Yeah, the way they're playing right now, they're better.
They've turned up. I don't know what he did at halftime. I don't know if he had like a Bunsen burner in the locker room and torched the locker room, but something changed at halftime against Alabama. I don't know. He may have put a dartboard of Lane Kiffin up there.
He did something, but it was a totally different team coming out of halftime. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So then you got LSU at number 8. I mean, they ought to be embarrassed that anybody would think that. They've got too much talent for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Arkansas at number 9, KJ Jefferson, if you go outside, you'll hear a turnover.
That's messed up. He's such a talented guy too, but it's just like, I think I always say this, but it's like he's staying on the same plateau. He's not rising. He's kind of staying there, kind of digressing a little bit from from where he's going at the quarterback position. And then you got LSU, who's got a really good quarterback. But man, you're right, George. They have so many athletes and so much talent on that team, and I don't know.
Brian Kelly looks like the shark in Jaws that, eventually swallowed the hand grenade, that blew the shark up.
Yeah.
He looks so mad. He looks like he's about to blow up.
Yeah, I think they lead the conference in missed tackles. I mean, that Ole Miss game, I think they gave up over 700 yards. In Ole Miss's defense, it wasn't much better.
No, it was not Notre Dame, Ohio State.
No.
So, okay, the back 5 here. Is Auburn starting to emerge as something better? Hard to know, but last Saturday, they almost pulled this off.
Hugh Freeze took over play calling, I think.
Yeah, and that might have helped.
Yeah.
South Carolina, Mississippi State, Florida, Vandy. By the way, let me just say this. Who knows what happens in Gainesville, but in my mind right now,
do or die.
Well, Vandy is way below any of that group.
Yeah.
I mean, Vegas says that the team we have 13th is 18.5 better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's not good.
No,
it's really not.
It won't be good for Napier. I mean, this is an absolute must win for Florida. And right, are they in a spot where, they're sitting here saying, woe is me, right? We lost to this team last year. We can't do it again. We just got, meleeed in Lexington. This could be sort of a down, snowball rolls down the hill, or they wake up, they're pissed off, and they go down and just
let's say
destroy.
it the way it really is. He loses to Vandy, he will be fired at the end of the year.
He's done.
He's done.
Will he make the end of the year, George?
That'd be a good question.
I know there's some Florida fans that would want him fired Sunday.
Give him. Here's the moving van. Don't let it hit you in the. Okay, we got to go to a break. In a moment, we'll meet up with new Predators head coach Andrew Brunette. The regular season, is less than a week away. Stay tuned.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
We are back. We're in a little bit of a holding pattern. You're looking at Bridgestone Arena, which is a sight I love to see with a sea of gold. Kelly, I'm sorry that color doesn't work for you, but it works inside that building.
It does. I agree. Totally. It just doesn't work for your bowling tournament T-shirt.
It has worked beautifully. However, the change was made today, and it has nothing to do with your thoughts.
Oh, is that right?
We're going to red, yeah. Okay, there is an excitement level about the Preds right now that I have not felt in a while. Barry Trotz took over, made a lot of moves that, frankly, the fan base had been screaming and yelling about, and he'd hired Andrew Brunette as his new head coach, and Andrew joins us by phone. Andrew, this is George Plaster. How you doing?
Thought he was with us.
Okay. Not so fast.
Billy's always,
my friend.
Billy's always thinking somebody's with us. It turns out they're not.
So, Kelly, these schedules are all over the Ford Ice Center.
Yeah.
And the schedule makers did the Predators no favors early. At Tampa, then home opener against Seattle, at Boston, Edmonton, at New York Rangers. Man, that is a Godzilla 5 right off the bat.
Crazy.
And so I'm just sort of in a holding pattern here, although I love the look of Bridgestone Arena.
Hello?
And there, I think he is. Andrew, this is George. No?
Hey, George.
Andrew, how you doing?
Good, George. How you doing? There's a little bit of cat and mouse here.
Yeah, but we're on the air, so both you and I will not say anything that'll get us in trouble. So you took over the building where we normally do our show out here at the Ford Ice Center, and I'm told that this was really a positive experience for you guys. If you will, talk a little bit about what you all were able to get done at the Ford Ice Center training camp.
No, it was great. I think the facility, having the different pads in a lot of room, obviously the upstairs for the players for lounging, and we're carrying big numbers of players. So I thought it ran really smooth. We got a little bit of a fan interaction, especially during the weekend with our scrimmages, and to see the fans out was pretty cool. I thought they did a great job. I mean, it's a beautiful facility, state of the art, and we really enjoyed our experience there.
It was also cool. You all had a preseason game here a week ago, and I thought it was a great crowd.
Yeah, it was wonderful to head up there, and I really kind of said it after the game. Of all the years I've been into inter-squad games, and sometimes you're never really sure where you're going to get, especially with a little bit of a bus ride. I thought it was an excellent hockey game. To have the fan base support out there was it felt like you wouldn't say quite a regular season game, but it was a great experience for the fans to be as close to the players as they were. I thought the Predators put on a great show where we made it feel like a home game. And the players, we weren't expecting that kind of level of compete and enthusiasm playing in, like I said, an inter-squad game against each other, but it was a very competitive hockey game. So I thought it had attributes of a lot of really good things, and it was a fun place to be a part of, especially with everything that's gone on there with the military. So it was a special night.
Yeah, you're talking about the visit to Clarksville, which was awesome.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, were we talking something else?
Oh, I was talking last week here at Bridgestone. I thought was a great crowd.
Oh, we're not at Bridgestone, George.
Well, no, but I mean, when they played here, thank you, Billy.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that either. For an exhibition game, especially the first one. I think it was on a Tuesday. You don't, or Wednesday, you don't know what you're really going to get. I played in some great hockey markets and really got not a big crowd, and to get the crowd we did just speaks volumes of the excitement level right now for the Predators and for hockey, just hockey in general in Tennessee, which I've kind of said this a few times, to see how it's grown since I was here 25 years ago is just remarkable, and it's really awesome to see. So that was a fun crowd. Hoping tomorrow night we get something similar and hopefully get a W.
Look up in 304 row 1. I'll be there. Andrew, as you know, toward the end of last season, the infusion of the young talent really got some things done. It also really enthused the season ticket base that's in there. Are you feeling a carryover from that?
Yeah, I think we've had a really competitive camp with all those young kids that kind of infused some energy and enthusiasm near the end of the year. They've kind of brought into training camp that same level. They're pushing some of the veteran guys. They're pushing some of the new guys coming in. So I think it's been very competitive. All the players that we felt could take a step have taken a step. So we're going to have some really tough decisions here to make. But we want those kinds of decisions. It speaks volumes of the kids coming through our system right now. But yeah, we're going to have some tough decisions, and they all kind of carried over the little bit of mojo they had last year. So it's been fun to see an Evangelista and a Tomasino. They're starting to go here quite a bit. Tommy Novak. And you know, we had Doug Ozzo has had a really good camp. So it's been fun to see those kids. And then the ones that we already sent down, the Chemos and the Svechkovs that kind of went down, the future is extremely bright. Schaefer, LaRue. So we're excited with what we have, and you know, the future looks bright here.
Yeah. Is there also a good feeling to the fact that if somebody, God forbid, does get hurt, that it's not an empty Milwaukee, that there's stuff to help you?
Absolutely. And there's still stuff here. We got some hard decisions. So we got some kids that probably deserve to be here, might have to start down there. So there's lots up in the air, but it does make you feel very comfortable as a coach that there is depth, there's organizational depth. And if we do run into injuries, we feel very confident that we got quite a few players that come in and kind of like you saw at the end of last year, come in, get an opportunity and make the most of it.
So when do you have to have the opening day roster done by? When do those decisions have to be made?
Well, they have to be made by next Tuesday, probably Monday. So these two games are crucial for a lot of different players here and for us as an organization to make some decisions. So we're going to be evaluating and assessing some of these kids. And like I said, there's going to be some really hard decisions and some disappointed people. But I think for organizationally, it's a good thing to have this in-house competition and have so many players vying for certain positions. So we got a lot of stick handling to do in that area, but it's good kind of stick handling.
So when the schedule, Andrew, before you came on, I read off the first 5 games, and I know you've looked at it close. It's a murderer's row at Tampa, Seattle here, at Boston, Edmonton here, the Rangers there. Who did Barry piss off at the league?
Yeah, no kidding. No, it's you try not to look past your first one. I know it's a cliche, but I think for us that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, that's not it. We're not dipping our toe in very lightly there. We're kind of jumping in the deep end. So we got our work cut out for us for sure.
Kelly, say hello to Andrew Brunette.
Coach, what's up, man? Hey, did training camp have who's been the biggest surprise for you player wise?
Hi, Kelly. That's a good question. I think there's quite a few players that stood out for me. I thought Evangelista has had a really good camp. I thought Tomasino stood out and played extremely well. I wasn't, you get not overly familiar with them, so you get a pretty good look at them and you can see, what they bring. Tommy Novak, who I've seen play a long time, I thought he's offensively played very well. Cody Glass, I was really impressed with Cody's 200-foot game. Wasn't sure. I kind of seen him as a younger player from the outside, and from being inside with him, I was really impressed with the way he thinks and the way he plays that really hard 200-foot game, and is very reliable. So those are the guys that stood out. I know Parsonen kind of got hurt, so we're just really setting the eyes on him here of late. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, a lot of those players that were in that group they put their best foot forward, and they make hard decisions for us.
What about your new free agents on the team? How are they fitting in? Because I remember free agents coming in, and sometimes those guys pay them a lot of money, and they just for some reason don't fit. Are all the free agents kind of fitting in?
Yeah, I mean, I think Barry really identified. You'd hear him say serial winners, but leaders. I think he really wanted a lot of the culture to change, so he brought in some guys, some veteran guys that are Rika leadership. and they're come in and I think they've fit in really easy. They're not looking to rock the boat. They're looking to win. They're here to win. They're here to help our team win. So their egos are not in the way. They're just here to help the Predators organization. I think Barry put a premium on that, and they've come as advertised. They're the ones that are driving a lot of our practices. I think we've played through practice with a lot of pace and a lot of work ethic, and they've been a big part of that.
What I'm going to use a Coach Donnelly term. Who's your bell cow on the team? Who's your guy that's a leader? I know you've got a bunch of leaders that you brought in. It seemed like just reading about their backgrounds, but who is your real bell cow of the team?
Well, Roman Josi obviously stirs the drink. The way he plays, I mean, he's a lead player in our league, and he's been excellent in the whole training camp scrimmages. He has a lot of energy right now. I find he's recharged and he looks great. So he's kind of the straw that stirs our drink for us, and he's brought it.
So my last deal here, and this is just for me, like all coaches look for different things in different players. What is your key ingredient when you're looking for a player?
Well, I think the two things that stick out for me is hockey sense, which is intelligence, IQ on the ice, and relentlessness. I think are the two things that stick out. That we're going to be really hard on pucks. We're going to work. We're going to be in your face. We're not going to let off. And then we have the sense and the IQ to think our way around the ice, put ourselves in structurally good positions. So I think those are two of the things. Obviously, you need a little everything in a hockey team. You need your playmakers, and you need your speed, and you need your physicality and your toughness. I think everybody brings their own little dimension. But I think for me, if those two things are part of all your players, you're usually in pretty good shape.
Well, good luck this season, Coach. I appreciate it. I'll give you back to George.
Yeah, Andrew, you may not know, Kelly Holcomb played 13 years in the National Football League, so be very careful with him because you just don't know. You don't know where he's going at times. I just wanted to alert him, Kelly. I just wanted him to know what he was getting into.
Well,
so, Andrew, let me ask this before.
Yeah, so Kelly knows all about IQ and spinning a ball too. So
absolutely. That's a key thing. That's what you want, especially guys. Well, they all hold the puck, but when you're playing football, there's just a quarterback who's going to touch the ball every play. So you got to have somebody that you trust. And the same thing for hockey. You've got to have people that you trust out there.
Exactly.
Andrew, let me ask
Sorry,
this.
George.
No, that's okay. Before we let you go, this is a deal where all of us got really revved up in March and April. We saw things we felt like we had not seen during most of the season. Barry comes in. He saw it too. He made changes that I happen to think were addition by subtraction, but that doesn't really matter at this point. What is fair right now for the fans to expect? What's realistic? What's fair?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. And I think you're kind of expecting kind of how the season ended last year. Sometimes that's a little bit hard to replicate. I think when young kids come in the end of the year and they get some opportunity that they never had, they've got some confidence and they got rolling and they felt good and things kind of went their way. It's going to be a little bit harder this year, starting a new year to grasp that. Now, my hope as a coach is that we're able to, and I'm trying to instill a little bit of that culture, that we're able to grab that energy, enthusiasm that they show at the end of the year and bottle it up and bring it into this year. Because I think if I watched a lot of their games last year, and you could really tell that last 25, 30 games, they were excited to play hockey. And that's something that I think if we can grab hold of and continue to build off of, that'll make us very competitive here, especially early on. And once you get competitive, I was in Jersey the year before, and you kind of, you get that enthusiasm and you get some confidence, kind of like you saw at the end of last year. And you don't, I think of my Jersey team the year before, nobody penciled us in to be where we ended up, but we kind of got on a roll and we kind of fed off our young kids that grew with that confidence and energy, and we kind of took off. So I'm not saying we're going to be Jersey whatsoever, but I think we'll give ourselves a chance if we play with that kind of energy, enthusiasm they showed in the year, build off the confidence they had, that good feeling they had, and start the year. And like you said, we got a real tough start. It's not going to be easy. We still got a lot of things to iron out. But I do like the feel of our group right now, that they are excited. They want to be together. They want to play together. They're growing every day, some of our young kids. So we have a nice combination of both. And we're going to put our best foot forward here, and we're going to try to play a fun style of hockey that's going to be in your face. And hopefully that'll lead to some wins and some buzz around the city.
Yep. And I can tell you this, people are excited that you and Barry are here. Thank you, as always, for the visit. Look forward to doing it again soon.
Anytime. George, good hearing from you. You too, Kelly. Take care.
Thanks,
Andrew,
bud. See
thank
bud.
you. Appreciate it. It's going to be fun. It's less than a week away. The regular season opener in Tampa, 4:30. It'll be one of ESPN's triple header games on opening night. So it's not far away at all. Okay, we'll go to the break. When we come back, stat of the day, which recently we have bombed at, and then Danny Evans, who probably will have to lift us up to help with stat of the day. But we've got the baseball playoffs ready and raring to go. We'll get you a scoreboard update, all of that coming up next.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over. Here's my buddy Sam Moran to tell you about a basketball event that's coming just around the corner that you need to attend.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Wednesday. It's time now for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards. You can find them out in beautiful Shelbyville, Tennessee. All right, here we go. Baseball playoffs rolling on. Yesterday, the Twins won their first playoff game since 2004. Who was the Twins' starting pitcher the last time they won a playoff game?
Holy cow.
Before Tuesday. Matthew is hitting us with some hard-hitting questions.
Good
I wanted to
gracious.
say Bert Bly. Hold on. Look at Danny. He's saying he's got it.
I'm sure he
And,
does.
let's go. It could have been the old Washington Senators, even though it isn't. Danny, let me ask this question. Okay, because is it Jack Morris? No. Let's bring him up here.
He's here.
He's here. Danny, talk to us.
What's up, guys? Baseball nerds like me love today. Get to see 4 games in a day. Hello, I'm having fun.
So what's the answer?
I think it's Johan Santana.
Oh, wow. If he gets this right, what a stud.
What a stud.
Man, look at it.
Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable, brother.
Wow.
Are we kidding?
We're witnessing history right now.
Well, and by the way, Johan Santana, that was a sad ending to his career because Danny, when he was right, he was incredible.
Oh, he was nasty. George, Rule 5 pick. A Rule 5 pick.
Wow,
they kept him on the roster all year long, just hit him as their second and third lefty. And oh my gosh, that changeup was so nasty. As good a pitcher as we've seen in the last 30, 40 years.
Unbelievable. Wow. So Texas leads 1-0 in the 4th inning. I know Danny's watching it. I'm not able to see it. But, man, the Rangers have found a second wind, haven't they?
They sure have. Evaldi's throwing great today. Garcia with a home run in the top of the 4th. Tampa just beat themselves last night, George. There's 3 things in the postseason that you need to do to win, and if you only do 2 of them, you're on a tightrope. If you don't do any of them, you're in big trouble. It's pitching, defense, and base running. And you notice I don't talk about offense in there. Tampa beat themselves. They just were sloppy defensively in the first 3 innings, really deserved to get beat. But the key is that Texas took advantage of situations. And I think Bruce Bochy is one of the best managers we've ever seen in our lifetime. And you give him a chance to manage his bullpen, I'll tell you what, they've got a chance to sweep him here. And it's pretty amazing that Texas, as up and down as they've been throughout the month of September, for them to come into Tampa, play as well as they have the first game and a half, it's pretty impressive.
Danny, I want to get your thoughts about this and see where you go with it. When the PA announcer says, and now, ladies and gentlemen, here are your Tampa Bay Rays, and they come flying out and they see for real 19,000. That had to be a downer.
Yeah, what a disappointment. You know, the crowd there is tempered somewhat, George, as you're aware. They put a canopy or a tarp over the upper deck, so they only seat 25,000. But you would not think that they would have trouble getting 25,000 people to a ball game at home, a playoff game. Yet, you know, it just was not a good-looking crowd. It was a smattering in the stands, and it's a real shame. And coming off the heels of their announcement about their stadium, I thought they would have some momentum, especially after winning 99 games this year. Really disappointing. Very, very disappointing to turn that on. And the contrast was, you know, the game right after that in Minnesota.
Oh my God,
was crazy.
Yeah,
at Target Field, and the game at night in Philadelphia was as loud a ballpark as you can be. So it's a shame that Tampa isn't supporting their club, and I think as a Rays player, it had to be disappointing to come out and have a less than stellar turnout. And Corey Seager's just gone out, George, and it's 4-0 Texas.
Ooh. Hello, Texas Rangers. My buddy Chuck Morgan their longtime PA announcer, who was once the voice of the Grand Ole Opry, he's turning cartwheels in his office down in Arlington.
George, I got it wrong. It's Evan Carter, the rookie, took a hanging breaking ball about middle and just hit the heck out of it to right center field. He's looked really good the first 2 games.
So this is a hand grenade kind of deal. Is Tampa a major league city?
I think it is. I've spent a lot of time there throughout my career. I definitely think it is, but I think the ballpark is a difficult sell. I've been to that park a lot, and there are so many reasons why you don't want to go inside. I think an indoor stadium in an outdoor area is a tough sell. It has very few amenities. The parking is awful. The ballpark was built in the mid '80s, George, and it just doesn't work. I think with the new ballpark, I think it'll accommodate the fans in a far superior way, and I think they've got a real good chance of doing well. But the current setup is not good, and I think the fans have spoken with their feet the last 2 days. It's a real sad statement that you can't get 20,000 for a playoff game.
Danny, if I were commissioner, and I said on the air earlier, I'd be a damn good one. No lack of confidence here.
None.
One of the things I would do is shorten to 154, and then this series would be best 3 out of 5. If I polled most of the general managers in baseball, would they be with me?
Well, George, there's a couple things in play there, and I think I'll call you Mr. Commissioner for this segment right here.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Commissioner, I think, there's one thing in play here, and that is taking those 8 games off means 4 games that are home games that are big revenue streams for teams between suites, ticket sales. So I think the quality of the game would be better if it was shortened by 8 games. I think there would be some monetary issues.
Yep.
But George, these games you're talking about lengthening the series, I actually think it's the LDS that should go to 7 games. And my reasoning is really simple. I think you come off a best of 3 series. If you had to scramble to get in, you probably used your 1 and 2 starters late in the regular season. And then, as in some cases, like in Arizona's case, you couldn't use them in the early stages of the wild card games. Should you advance, your rotation's in disarray. And one of the reasons you got in was because your pitching was good. At the same time, the teams that got a bye, and they're good ones, the Orioles, Houston, Dodgers, and Braves, I don't think 3 games is enough to knock them out after getting a bye. So personally, instead of winning 11 games, I'd like you to have to win. I'd like you to have to win 14 games if you're a postseason entrant. I just think it's a challenge, George, to get in. It's a marathon, and then suddenly it's a sprint. And I think for right now, a team like Texas goes in, plays on Saturday. They go to play the Orioles. Well, they come in hot, and the Orioles have had 5 days off. It's not that tough to get a game in there in those first 2 home games, and it really puts the Orioles at a disadvantage. So I'd like to see a pair of 7-game series because I think the better team prevails in that case most every time.
Okay, I know this will be a big shock, Danny, that I intend to be in Atlanta Saturday for game 1. I'm assuming right now it's the Phillies. I'm also assuming no Aaron Nola, help me, I'm losing it here. Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler.
Right.
Neither one in game 1. But Danny, you sounded the alarm bells a week ago. They're the same alarm bells that I've had all along, and that is there's a pitching problem right now in Atlanta. Is it fixable? I mean, can they snap their finger and everything works out fine?
But George, I think there's a couple issues here, and let's talk about them. Number one, I'm not so sure it's going to be Philadelphia. Miami's coming in with Garrett tonight. He's a really good young left-handed pitcher. I think they've got a good chance to even this out. At the same time, Nola has not pitched well against the Marlins, so I'm not discounting this going to a 3-game series, which for you would be ideal, obviously.
Oh,
but
big time.
Here's the key in the National League. They have a day off on Sunday, whereas the American League does not. As a result, the National League teams, and let's just focus on the Braves, only really need 3 starters. They can throw Strider on Saturday in Game 1, and they can pitch him in Game 4 the following Thursday on regular rest without any issues. They could use Fried on Monday in Game 2, and then in Game 5 the following Saturday. So they only really need a Game 3 starter on Wednesday, which neutralizes some of the pitching concerns. Only using 3 starters as opposed to 4 gives the Braves a decided, I would say, boost. But what it also does, George, is it limits the number of question marks in the rotation. Charlie Morton might come back for the LCS, might. We don't know. But he's not coming back for the first series. And I think, whoever throws Game 3, it might be a bullpen game. I think it could be Elder. It could be a series of guys. But to only have to do that once in a 5-game series, I think the Braves are actually okay. But I think the Braves have a tough road, George. I mean, clearly the best team in the National League. But they're going to have to go through either Philly or Miami, then likely the Dodgers, and then the American League champ. And that's not going to be an easy 11 wins for the Braves.
No.
But the key, George, all 3 series will be great tests. And I think whenever you have a great test in your first series, it really gets you ready for the remainder of the postseason.
You know him a lot better than I do. I know my confidence level in Max Fried is off the charts. The guy is a baller, and I think he'll end up doing great. Danny, 2 years ago when they won it all, people forget there was a Tyler Matzik who nobody could touch, which sparked, that they had the ability to go to the bullpen early. He'd give them a couple of innings, strike out 5. He was out of his mind. Who do you trust out of their bullpen today?
Oh, boy, George. I tell you what, here's the key for me in the postseason. You really don't want to see the bullpen. You want to see the starter get as many outs as he can, quality, get as close to your end of your game guys.
Right.
But you never know, George, who's going to step up. You're coming off of August and September where most guys are just beat up. Bullpen guys have thrown 50 to 70 outings. You never know who's coming in fresh. But George, last night's a good example. It's the first day of the playoffs. The average velocity of pitchers in yesterday's games was 96.5 miles an hour. Wow. So what you see is the combination of excitement, anxiety, nerves, being pumped up, having some rest. So I think what you'll see Saturday is some guys will respond, and some guys it's not going to be there. And it's not going to be there for a variety of reasons. We don't know. And George, neither do they. Neither does the Braves hierarchy. But I think the key to winning in the postseason is seeing as little of your 10th and 11th guys as you possibly can. Match up those last 4 innings of the game. And luckily in their case, with 2 days off in the first 4, their bullpen should be rested, George. To have a day off after games 1 and 2 at home, that's an extraordinary benefit for not just the club as a whole, but most certainly for the relievers. And what that will do is that'll allow him to not dip as deep into his reliever pool as he wants to for those 3 final games, if necessary, that'll be played in a 4-game set.
Yeah. Because it's a different, playoff baseball is way different now than regular season baseball. Danny, was it as different in the 80s?
Yes. Yeah, George, it's really funny. I will never forget my first playoff game, 1983, batting practice in Memorial Stadium. I'm nervous as hell. And Charlie Lau comes up to me, puts his arm around me, and says, "Hey, this is what we just played the last 7 months for. Don't be nervous. This is a time to enjoy the fact that you're one of the few teams still standing." And the problem, George, is this. Because you're in a different mindset, some managers, some third base coaches, some bullpen coaches, pitching coaches have a sense of urgency. And as a result, many managers will say, we're not using the same deployment as we did during the regular season. This is my game now. And as a result, you give me as many outs as I let you have, I'll take it from here. Some guys don't like that. Some guys don't like the, I would say the mixing up of the pen. But the really good clubs with really good makeup, they know they got to get 27 outs and let's go get them any way we can. But George, there's 2 things you see. You see 2 guys up in the pen in the slightest bit of problems.
Oh, yeah.
Which in the regular season you never see. And the second thing you see is you see starters come out before the 5th inning because the manager doesn't care. Now, here's a key, George. In these 3-game series, we've only had them for a few years. 83% of the time, the team that wins game 1 wins the series. In a game 5 series, or a 5-game series, I should say, that first game is important again. It's in the high 70s.
Yeah.
So what you see is a sense of urgency in games 1 and 2 that we never replicate throughout the spring and summer, that suddenly you flip a switch and George, it's entirely different. And here's one of the problems. Some bullpen guys can't get up multiple times. So when you get that guy up in the 4th, 5th, 6th inning, you either use him or lose him. And in some bullpens, that is a disaster because the guy can't sit, get hot again. And this is where your bullpen depth wins a lot of games in the postseason.
That is really interesting. The whole who can warm up more than once, because you're right about one thing. A hangnail has the bullpen throwing.
It's incredible. And George, the fun thing, the managers who seize the moment, and mostly are veteran guys who, they smell a win. And as somebody once said to me, I don't care what it takes to win a game in the postseason. I don't care about tomorrow. I'm going to win today. There's a lot of managers who don't play the game that way very well. And that lack of urgency puts them in a tough spot. Whereas the guys who do, they'll jump in their bullpen early and they'll go get a guy and everybody questions what's going on. But in reality, it's all a vibe. And they just say, hey, you know what? I can't wait around and I refuse to wait around. And as a result, I'm going to take this game in my hands right now. And if we're wrong, I'm okay. Remember Dave Roberts telling me before a playoff game in Washington, a game 5, he goes, Danny, I might surprise you late in the game tonight. And sure enough, he brings Clayton Kershaw out to pitch the 8th inning. And it was awesome because he just said outs are at such a premium. And George, you know what we don't know? We don't know how the Orioles are going to respond. I mean, we have no idea. But we do know that they come in an elite club. But boy, when those lights come on that first day, it's an entirely different vibe. Let's see how Brandon Hyde handles it. Yeah. Sean, Strigger's gonna handle it really well. So is Dave Roberts, so is Dusty Baker. But the guys who haven't done it before, you never know how they're going to react.
Okay, in your baseball life, and I know I need to go to the break here in just a second, Who's the best postseason manager you've ever seen?
Wow. Dave Roberts, pretty darn good. Goes with his gut. Jimmy Leland, outstanding. I think Bobby Cox was outstanding. Dick Hauser of the Kansas City Royals was great early in my career.
Yes.
But I think, George, what really plays is their personality. You know, I missed a guy, Joe Torre. Joe Torre, I got on him once because Joe Torre just sits in the dugout and used to swing his legs, and he looked so calm, and everybody in the dugout looked at him and said, hey, you know what? We've got this. He's okay. And one of his players once said to me, I don't know how he does it, but he makes me calm just looking down the dugout. Part of it is persuading your team, hey, we're okay. But part of it's, George, I'll be candid with you, are the guys who just say, nope, I'm not going to wait around. I'm doing this right now. And I think the guys who seize it are great. The guys who don't, they watch a lot of baseball in October.
Great stuff.
Bruce Bochy?
Bochy's outstanding. They're up 5-0 now. He's one of the best handlers of bullpens I've ever seen in my 40-plus years. You give him guys who are throwing well, he can manage a game as well as anybody.
Hall of Fame manager.
No doubt.
Lives in Nashville. I want to meet him someday. We'll
Great
go
guy.
to the break, and then Kelly will take over as we talk playoff baseball with Danny Evans. Do not go away.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Okay, we are back. Not in a triple screen for long because Kelly Holton's going to take over with Danny Evans. Danny, still 5-0 Texas?
Still 5-0.
Wow. So a team that looked like they were going to kill it this year may be out before the anthems played. Kelly, take over.
So, Danny, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, Kelly. Did George survive the golf simulator last week?
Obviously, he's still with us. I don't know if it made a difference in his swing, but
the real question is the other people in the other the other bay. Did they?
There's a liability insurance.
Did we
I
really
just want to
need
know
that?
George, I just want to know, did you shank one? Did you shank one in the simulator?
Truthfully, I didn't hit one ball last week when we were there.
Really?
Not one. My golf game is in the best shape it's been in a long time.
Well, I followed them on Twitter and Instagram, and I think that might have to be a little research and development in December when I'm there for the winter meetings.
My putting's coming around, Danny. I'm getting better. I'm going to get in the 60s at some point, man. I'm gonna do it.
I'm in the 60s. I'm 64.
I know. And you look at every day when I see you. 64.
Oh, you're just lighting up there. Danny, when
How about the back nine?
Good point. Hey, when are the winter meetings?
They would be the first weekend, starting the first weekend in December, stretching till Thursday of that week. I don't know the exact dates, but it's the first week of December. We have a Sports Management Worldwide Baseball Career Conference on Sunday and Monday that'll be absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to it, George.
Ditto. Kelly, it's all yours, even with the cheap shots.
You got the easiest cheap shots ever, George. Okay, so with these 4 games going on, Danny, the Rays are already down big. Which teams? Is it going to be the Blue Jays, the Brewers, or the Marlins have a chance of coming back?
Well, I think this is going to be a Texas sweep. I like Minnesota this afternoon. I think just Minnesota's a better team than the Toronto Blue Jays. I think they're going to sweep the Jays. I just think, Vandy fans will be happy that, Sonny Gray's pitching today, and Sonny Gray's been as good a pitcher as there's been in the big leagues the last 2 months. So I think he's good. I think the Milwaukee-Arizona game is going to be outstanding. A couple of the best young pitchers in the league between Peralta and Gallen, and I think it's going to be a great game. But I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona came back and threw that W on the board. And I just think the Miami-Philadelphia game tonight's going to be a really good ball game, and I would not be surprised to see Miami beat Philly. But I think what we're seeing in these first 2 days is execution, Kelly. We're seeing the base running, a very big element of the game. Third base coaches had probably 5 or 6 difficult plays yesterday, and I think what we're seeing is the beauty of postseason baseball.
How big was that win last night for the Twins? Because the Twins, I think George said an 18-game losing streak in the postseason. I thought it was 20, but I read something where one of the reporters was talking about you could just feel when they won that game and when the third out of the ninth inning was over, like it just like all the pressure from the stadium. And I know those guys that play, they had no part in that streak, obviously. But how
Yes.
big is that for them to come through that and to get all this pressure of not winning any postseason games since like 2004?
Yeah. Oh, Kelly, 18 games over 18 years. So it's pretty remarkable. And they've been a really good club. They just were snake bit. They couldn't beat the Yankees for an extended period. And they found ways to lose. It's just one of those quirky, weird things. From the first pitch of yesterday's game, Target Field, Kelly, is built vertically. It's far more compressed. It's on the smallest amount of land of any big league ballpark. So it's really tight, really compressed. And that crowd was rabid. They were crazy from the first pitch yesterday. And I think Minnesota fans were there to support their team and snap the streak. And I think what they really did, and I noticed most of the players mention it after the game, that it really, and you know this, it pumps a team up when the home crowd is that crazy and that excited. And it was a good ball game. There were plenty of opportunities. But, Correa makes a great play. He was actually in the wrong spot, so he made the play a little more tough than he should have. But in reality, what the Twins really did yesterday, and I think you brought up a great point, it wasn't their players the current players who lost those 18 games, but it was the franchise. And I think everybody had a big lift. And that Blue Jay team has underperformed considerably for the last few years. And now they're on their heels going into this afternoon's game, and they could be out at the end of the evening.
So you talked about bullpens earlier, and I read where the Brewers, is it Craig Counsell? Is he the manager for those guys?
Yes, he is.
Did he used a lot of pitchers. I mean, did he kind of overstep I'm not saying overstep his boundaries, but did he kind of go in there too quick with that? I mean, because I know you're trying to win one game, but good gracious, you used a lot of guys, and you just talked about how important the bullpen is, and you would like to get the starter through. Now, I understand if the starter's struggling, but did he use too many guys in that first game?
Well, nobody knows except their trainer, their pitching coach, and Craig Counsell. And Craig Counsell is one of the best managers in the game, Kelly. I think he saw Corbin Burns yesterday and said, there's no way he's going to get me through 5 or 6 innings. I'm going to have to manage this game to give him a chance to win game 1. What you don't want to do is lose game 1 and have to win the next 2. So I think he managed and matched up. I know some people will say he went to the pen too often and too early. I actually think he did the right thing because Burns wasn't right. He just didn't look good. And in their situation with Woodruff out, Woodruff has a capsule injury in his shoulder. And, they came in an elite set of arms. But with Woodruff out and Burns not throwing well, this team is built on pitching. And when they didn't pitch well out of the gate yesterday, I give him credit. It's much what we talked about a few minutes ago. He just seized the moment and said, no, I don't like this. Peralta's been a good innings guy for them, Kelly. But you know what? You played, Kelly, you get it. It's elimination day. If a guy tells you he can't go today, well, it tells you a little bit about him. Most guys, remember one pitcher said to me, Danny, I got 6 months to rest. I'm good. Let's go. And I think, it sounds mano y mano, but when your back's against the wall and if you lose, you don't have a game tomorrow, it's amazing what you can drum up. Just reach back for 15 or 20 pitches that day.
So obviously with these 4 games, and we got to figure out the winner, whoever that is. But out of these 4 games, the winner of that series, are there a team out of the wild card deal that can win the whole thing?
Well, I think Texas is always going to be dangerous. And I've always thought that Minnesota's a good club. I just didn't think Minnesota's path was a good one through Houston. Philadelphia will always be a team, Kelly. And I think whoever wins the Milwaukee-Arizona series is going to give the Dodgers a heck of a run. But I think the best out of that group, candidly, if Arizona advances, they've got two elite starters at the top of the rotation. I love Texas's offense, and I love their club. I just don't like their bullpen. And their bullpen has not been an Achilles heel. It's been Achilles heels. But Kelly, look who these teams have to beat. Got to beat either the Orioles, Houston, the Dodgers, or the Braves. Now, I know we go in expecting them to win, but you got to play awful well to beat those teams in a best-of-5 series. And I think those teams come in with a bye, with their rotation set, with their rotation rested and their bullpen rested. And I think it's going to be very hard-pressed to beat those 4 teams unless you play absolutely out of your mind.
So with everything taken into consideration, pitching, defense, bullpen, batting, who do you think has the best chance to win the whole thing?
I think it's going to be the Braves, the Dodgers, or the Orioles. I think we all sleep on the Orioles. We kind of look at them as having a magical season. But Kelly, they play the game right. They're athletic. They're young. If they can handle, and I think it's very real, the pressure of playing and the attention and the 300 media people and the schedule changes, I think the Orioles are going to be a really tough out. And I think the Dodgers and the Braves, should they advance to the LCS, could be truly one of the great series. I think they're both great teams, and they're both wanting to play each other, but they both have really tough challenges in the LDS. But I think it's going to be one of those 3 clubs, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Orioles emerged out of the whole thing.
And it's amazing to me how the Orioles have been kind of insignificant for so many years, but now you look and then they've got this great team, and you look at their farm system, and they got the number 1 rated farm system in Major League Baseball. Obviously, this is a sustainable deal for those guys.
Yeah, and Kelly, you're a character guy. I know you are. Just after talking to you, they've drafted and developed great character guys. They're winners. Their catcher, Rushman, is absolutely an elite player. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. He's in his first full year in the big leagues. He has won everywhere he's played in his career, and he just brings an absolute elite leadership tangibility that is so good. I love the way their club battles. They just have energy, and what they really have is depth. I think this is a really tough club to play in the postseason. I think America's going to get to know them very, very well starting this weekend, because a lot of people haven't watched a single Oriole game all year. But Kelly, look out. That is not a team you want to play in the postseason.
Last thing, these 3-game series, I know you just talked about it with George. I think you said that you would rather go further too, but like when you're playing 2 out of 3, how important is it? I think I've asked you this before, but how important is that game, and how much pressure, if you don't win that first game, is it on the team? Like the Brewers coming in pretty hot, and coach had to use all the bullpen the other night. Like how much pressure have those guys got on them just to win game 2 to stay in it?
Well, Kelly, it used to be a 1-game wild card, which is something I've experienced. And oh my gosh, you talk about pressure. Every single out is so pressureful. In fact, Edwin Encarnacion's wild card home run happened on this day 7 or 8 years ago, and I jumped around like a 5-year-old for about 10 minutes after that happened when the Blue Jays won. But Kelly, I have never felt that kind of pressure in a league division series, an LCS, or a World Series. The first round, the wild card, the best of 3, there's a sense of urgency that doesn't exist all year. It doesn't exist in the other playoff series. And as you said, losing yesterday for Toronto, for Tampa, it just honestly, for Milwaukee, that changes everything. You just went 6.5 months being one of the best teams, and you are 27 outs away from being done. That is an unbelievable sense of not just urgency, but pressure and anxiety. And candidly, Kelly, a lot of guys can't handle that the first time through. Everything is magnified. Everything about it is just different. You can feel it. And I think what you're seeing today with some of these teams, having to win game 2 to keep themselves alive, that's a pressure that very few people are prepared to play with and very few people thrive in.
Well, you got it, George. Appreciate it, Danny. That was awesome, man. You just, it's unbelievable the kind of knowledge you have in baseball, man. It's crazy.
No, it's just
great
writing
questions.
a textbook of
awesome.
postseason stuff. Danny, I'll report back after Atlanta, but don't be surprised if you get a call after the show.
Oh, I have no problem with that. And guys, I am the nerdiest baseball guy in the world today. So I am just happy as heck. I can just sit with my dog, watch 4 games, and just ingest as much baseball as possible. So this is a good day for me.
I'll be nerd number 2. I'm with you.
Johan Santana, my gosh.
God, he pulled that one out of left field.
Yeah, the trivia part, I'm a little dangerous, Kelly. I'm sorry.
I kept thinking it was Jack Morris, and that was not a good memory for me.
It's a good guess, though, George. Anytime you guess a Hall of Famer, it's a good one.
Yeah. Hey, thank you as always.
Have a great one, guys. See you later.
See you.
Danny Evans, man, he is the best. Truly the best. After the break, Plaster Bet of the Day. There are 2 of them tonight. Stay tuned.
Starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in a car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it's also, it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Final segment on a Wednesday. It's time for Plaster's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Burt Durham Injury Law. Of course, we got 4 total games today. We got 3 left. I think, is that game over yet, George?
Might as well be.
Rangers just won it, so.
No, it's not over yet. No.
Jack just told me it was over. Well,
Jack
in theory, it is.
In theory, it is. It's in, I want to say, the 6th inning.
I want them to come back now and Jack to be eating his words.
Oh, and we would make sure we would do our own personal roast if it turned out.
The next game has started, so we've got another one to keep an eye on. But George, let's get to it. Last night, tough loss. Actually, no, you won last night.
By the
you
way,
lost Monday.
7-0, top 7, Rangers. Whew.
Yes,
wow.
Yes, it is over.
Yeah.
You got to win last night.
That is a bitter pill for Tampa.
Though that fan base deserves it.
Kelly, we're about to go on a roll. You ready?
Sure.
Yeah, I can feel your excitement. Thank you.
Excitement lives here, baby.
So we got a win last night with the Phillies. I'm going to take MTSU -3.5 tonight against Jacksonville State. Wednesday night football. Not a bad thing. A little strange, but we like it. That's the first one. The top one, I don't share Danny's enthusiasm about the Marlins. Nothing against the Marlins, but that crowd in Philly is scary crazy. They are totally out of control, and they are helping that team huge. And if they get some decent pitching, they're going to win tonight.
Philly Fanatics.
Yep. And then I know what the problem is. They're going to play the Bravos.
Are you ready for George? Are the Bravos ready for them or what?
Are you confident? I mean, you don't seem very confident.
No, I'm not. I've been worried for a while about the Braves. It has nothing to do with their everyday lineup. They will hit. But here's
when does the pitching come in to really hurt them?
I don't know.
Well, that's what I don't really know that it. I mean, they're better offensively than the Phillies.
They are. They're better than anybody offensively. But here's the other thing. Okay, all this homer crazy stuff. The weather's about to get quite a bit cooler. For instance, in Nashville Saturday, the high is 63. Balls don't travel. Balls don't travel as well.
I'll say they got home field advantage. And
they got home field.
It'll it probably won't get uncomfortably cold until when, you think? I mean,
let's hope
ALCS
not for a while.
or NLCS. So at least
I would like it to be 90. Balls fly. Boom. But here's the thing. Yes, they could get really good pitching performances from Strider and Max Fried. And this might be a red scare, but I don't see the dominating bullpen. I don't trust a bunch of their bullpen.
Somebody's got to step up.
Kirby Yates, Jimenez. Iglesias is the most trustable. He's the closer. I don't know about the rest of it. And in the postseason, unless you do what Texas did and just bury Tampa, it's bullpen baseball. And right now, they don't have what they had 2 years ago, which was a lights-out bullpen.
George, who's got the best bullpen in baseball at this point right now?
Ooh. That's
Put him on the spot right there.
Really good question. I would say it's in the American League.
Really?
I don't
Orioles?
think it's in the National. I wish you'd ask Danny that.
Rangers have a damn good one.
Yeah. And if Aroldis Chapman pitches the way he did yesterday, which was boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
3 down, throwing gas. Texas has got a really good one.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see the Orioles. They're, I know it's an American League team. All you care about is the Braves, of course. But I like seeing,
first of all, I think it's good for baseball.
Yeah.
And listen, I think one of the differences, the Atlanta crowd at Turner Field in playoff baseball was very blasé. It has not been that way in the new park. And I fully expect it may not be quite to Phillies level because those people are nuts, but it will be a positive.
A bunch of Tony Basilios up there.
They know I'm coming. They're excited. I think on that load of bull, we're out of here.
Yeah, sure. See ya.